once again. We're here down at the beach because I really did want to capture a couple of these boats that we have out here. Again, our luck's out a little bit, as luck would have it. It's as out as this tide, but there's not much we can really do about that. So you've got to take the conditions as you find them and do the best you can. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get down low, I think, for this first thing, for this first shot. Get low in the frame and use this boat, make it dominate in the scene, push it high. We've got a bank, as you see, that bank of death, the dreaded bank of doom. That's going to blot out any real colour, I think, in the sky. But hey, that's just the way things work, isn't it? So yeah, we're gonna wander onto this little boat. I'll get very, very low as I can, and we'll shoot along and push that up into the sky. Hopefully, we'll capture that cloud without too much of the blue sky above it. So let's move in and just do that. Okay. There we are. Let's just lock on our focus. Just there. I'm going to come down to ISO 100 for now. I'm just going to push up the exposure just for a moment or two, and probably about 10 seconds, I would think, should do us. So let's test that and see how we go. Trying to keep everything out of the puddles. That light is beautiful, isn't it? That light is so beautiful. Right, let's test that. We will need to focus stack. But I can see this being a 16 by 9. But first of all, let's have a little look. Let's just check. Our focus is very good. And let's just take that again, and then we'll focus stack. I can see this being 16 by 9. There's a lot of foreground litter here that I might not actually need. But it's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. And once again, it's just absolutely beautiful. Again, I think this is going to be 16 by 9. So let me just visualize that. Just like this. Just going to adjust the polarizer. Full glare. Less glare. I think less glare is best with this one. And I am going to throw a grad on to help us just a little bit with that soon to be blown out sky. And I'm going to throw a second grad on also to join the 1.2, just like that. Little fish in the water. I I prefer that. Let me just lower that a tiny bit. So I think we're at 8 seconds. Getting a little tiny bit of pink in that sky over those dark brooding clouds. So it'd be nice to see if we can have a nice difference between the cool and the warm tones. So I'm just going to focus in the foreground, and then I'll focus on those far trees. Yeah, it's a pity we can't control the tides, because this place really comes alive with a higher tide, but there's nothing we can do about that. It's all about working within your environment. So I think I may pop on a 3-stop. Should give me about 30 seconds or so. I want a bit more than that, actually. I want to throw on the 6-stop, work back. I probably want about a 2-minute exposure if I can get it, to move those clouds a bit. So I'll come up to 2 minutes, and then I think I'll increase the ISO a tiny bit. And I really should have focused back on the bow first. There we go, we have the boat. So let's there we go, let's give that a go. 2-minute exposure just to get some movement in those clouds. Yeah, now we've got to be very careful approaching this scene, because we don't want any of our footprints in there at all, and I'm tempted to go immediately in for a super long exposure, but I think we need to focus stack first before we hit those clouds up for a long exposure. So I'm going to use the leading line of this rope that leads to the boat, and then the other 2 boats in the background. So let me get in there and then I'll pull you along with me. That looks quite nice. Yes, that looks quite nice. Okay, so let's get our focus stacking done as fast as we can. So I'm just going to focus in on this first anchor, 2-second timer, 2-second image. I'm going to check that because I don't want any of that sky blown out, of course. Perfect. And then I'm just going to make sure that we focus up towards that boat. I may actually raise this slightly Get a bit more of that skying because that's the drama. That's better. So, and we couldn't have angled the boat any better, could we? You know, perfectly aligned. So I want to do that one. I'm just going along the line of that rope. I'll do the back of the boat and then the two boats in the back, and then I'll do a long exposure for that cloud. Wonderful. I really like that image. I quite like the clouds too, so I will have a choice. Oops, I don't want to drop that in water, do we? We can have a choice of options later on. I'll do one more at the very far extremes of the image. Done. And then we'll do our, I might not get two this time, we'll see. Focus on the boat. Let's lock the focus. 6 stop. Six stop. That may just blow out slightly, so I'm going to come down to ISO 100. 2 minutes. Off we go. So with this image I had to get down really low, sat in the sand, and trying to use and pick up this rope to sort of pull you in. And I've done from really low, as you've seen here. I may actually do a second image higher up. This may be full 16:9, or I may actually use the full form. So right, we need to focus stack. It's no good having 2 minutes for this image. There's a nice little tinge of red on the horizon, so let's very quickly bring this down. about 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Yeah, 2.5 seconds seems to be good to me. You can see that the histogram is slap bang in the middle. So that's good. Focus. We will have to really be careful focus stacking this one. So as you see, that rope is close to us, or fairly close to us. We just want to make sure that the rope front to back is sharp. So let's work our way up that rope. Some nice little splashes of colour. It's like a rosy peach on the horizon. And there's some oranges and yellows on the clouds above. So that's really nice. And there's a nice curve to this image. The rope, the anchor, the boats, and then that tree off in the background. So I'll focus stack this and then do a long exposure, and we're getting some nice colour in there. So that's done. I know I said I wouldn't be doing the trees, but I've come across this side and found that there is one, maybe, yeah, one that's in the water-ish, and I think will give us an opportunity just to capture another image. We are facing away from the sunrise, which means we don't have to worry about a lot of the issues to do with harsh light. We're just low enough for us to be able to take advantage of what little water we've got, and it's still draining away, so I've got to be fairly quick. Got to make sure that the two trees don't intersect. Just like that. There you go. We're not doing a 2-minute image, so we can dispense. With that. Plenty of room for that reflection. Speaking of which, let's adjust. There you go. Look, that's the power of switching your polarizer off. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to need a fairly fast shutter speed to start off with. Never be afraid to push your shutter speed. 1/600 should do it. I'll focus on the tree itself. It's actually two there, but I can't separate them. And there's actually a tree off to the left, and then a house. House, I think it's a fisherman's hut, so I'll capture that. 2. Get that in focus. Fabulous. And then I'm going to come up for some of those shadows and the colour. I'll just do those trees again to make sure that we've got them, especially their trunks. Nice, I do like that reflection. I'm probably going to do a longer exposure now to just make sure we can smooth that water out. So at 1 second, I know, whoops, let's lock our focus. We'll lock it on the front tree for now. I think that's the most important of the subjects. And we should be able to come up to 1 minute. $60, yes. Let's go for that. Let's see how we go. Listen, thank you very much for joining me here on this quaint, quiet and wonderful little side trip to the Isle of Sumba. I'm absolutely over the moon. As I said, I've wanted to come here for a long time and I'm just so pleased I was able to. So what it leaves me to say is please look after yourself, look after your loved ones. Until next time, see ya.